Hello and welcome back to another episode of the On the Sideline podcast with Jackson Kyle. I am joined here, as always, by the man who has just caught an interception from Patrick Mahomes. Kyle, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I did, but I don't think they're going to call a penalty or offsides on this one. I'm keeping this ball, definitely. Incredible play by me.
Yeah. Yes. Good stuff. So, Kyle, we have a lot to talk about. First things first, though, we should mention no Sunday show this week. Unfortunately, I'm going to be flying back from a wedding on Sunday. I'll try to get some sort of content up late Sunday night, but I won't be able to keep track of everything. So, with our schedules, we're just going to do kind of maybe an extra long show on Wednesday where we'll talk about the headlines of what happened and then do our previews. So, unfortunately, no Sunday show, but we have a very fun Wednesday show here.
I gotta say, whoever's wedding this is, though, whether it's friend, family member, for booking a fall winterish wedding, I mean that's grounds for not even going in my book.
You would not go to a November wedding.
I jokingly said that, but I had a fall wedding, so it's okay.
Okay. Yeah. Kyle, this is my first adult wedding that I've been to, it's crazy. I'm 26. You think I should have been to at least like a couple by now. It's my cousin's wedding. So it was supposed to be last year, but then with COVID, they delayed it a year. So I had to buy a suit the other day, Kyle.
Yeah. You know what? The thing is like, so I've been to 3 or 4 weddings actually now. But my first 2 were mine was the first one. And then B, the second one was my brother-in-law's. And so I was like I was a groomsman. And I was just like, I was so upset because basically I was just attributed a wedding to spending money. And I don't like spending a lot of money like that. Yeah, that's basically what I attribute weddings to at this point.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair. I've always been kind of the mindset of like, just who cares about what? Just go to a courthouse, get married, whatever. My girlfriend, not a fan of that idea.
Yeah, shockingly, that is not a popular idea among a lot of females.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about the Monday Night Football. I'm sure people are already turning off, saying, "Oh my God, we have to listen to you talk about stuff that isn't football. What are we doing here?"
Yeah, no kidding. All the drama of the trade deadline, which it wasn't that much drama. All the drama of everything going on today, and we start off with weddings. Makes sense.
Sure. Comment, bold take, Jordan Love will throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, lead the Packers to victory. We'll see. Can we please talk about football? Yes, Peter, we will talk about football. We'll start off with the Monday night game. This was weird. It was kind of one of those, like, the Chiefs won, but it didn't feel like a win. Like, they got the win to there. The Giants definitely lost. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games where it feels like nobody deserves to win, right? I didn't think that the Chiefs looked impressive at all. I didn't think that the Giants looked impressive at all, obviously. I thought they were both kind of sloppy teams. It seems like this Giants offense, if you can prevent it from throwing downfield, is basically useless, right?
The Giants, I mean, I think you could say that about every offense, really.
I mean, to an extent, yeah, but I still think, it seems like they have one option, which is, chuck the ball. And if that's not there, it's basically a busted play. Where I feel like other teams can eventually adjust. This team particularly, that's basically their go-to move is like use these guys to get downfield. I know they're dealing with a ton of injuries this season and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, they made this Chiefs defense look pretty good, and I'm still not convinced it's that good. So
yeah. Well, I think the more interesting topic of discussion is the Chiefs offense. Because, Chiefs defense maybe having some up and down weeks. Like, that's not something that we were like surprised about. They were a mediocre defense last week. So them being sort of, not the best defense this week as well. I think the more interesting thing is the insane amount of turnovers. And it's a narrative. I tweeted out, I think that the Mahomes has regressed to the mean argument it gives me strong Brady's a system quarterback argument. I feel like Mahomes, I think he's going through a rough patch. I think he'll be all right. But this Chiefs team, we've been talking about this. There are definitely reasons to be worried about them, not just on their defense, but on their defense, 5th worst in the NFL according to points per drive. And it's their offense. That one of the issues that they have is they need a third option. They need to stop trying to make every play be a home run. And everyone blames it on Mahomes, but it's an Andy Reid thing. Andy Reid keeps calling these deep shots. Like, what is Mahomes supposed to do when there's no check down and 3 receivers are running deep? Not throw it down the field? Like, they need to start running the ball more. They need to start doing this underneath stuff.
Yeah, and I thought they did a little better with it in this game, but still not enough because, as you can still see, they're still under 5 yards per play, which is just, I mean, when have you seen this team consistently under 5 yards per play? It's been years since we've seen that. Even the Alex Smith teams didn't have that really. And Alex Smith is the check down king, according to a lot of people. So they just never really operated that way before. And this year they're basically operating because it's either a 20-yard gain or it's a 0-yard gain or it's a turnover. And it's just not working right now. It looks sloppy, and it looks like it's kind of easy to defend. So I think that they're going to wait for one of these guys to get cut. I'm already going to be angry if they get Odell Beckham Jr. I'm just saying it now. I'm just going to be furious.
Well, that would take quite a move. I mean, the Browns have to cut him, and he would have to clear waivers all the way to Kansas City.
I mean, it's not like it's all the way to Kansas City because they're middle of the pack team right now.
Sure, but I mean, wouldn't the Lions just take him?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think you'll be all right. Maybe next year there could be some concerns. I think for this year you don't have to hold your breath, Kyle.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we'll see what happens with this team. But yeah,
also, I think that would be electric to watch.
I still would just get furious. I don't even care. Irrationally just furious. Yes, it would be fun to watch. I'd just be furious. But yeah, I mean, logistically, it makes a ton of sense for Kansas City to add a guy like that. I mean, it makes sense for a lot of teams to add a player of Odell Beckham's caliber if he is cut. So he has to get cut first, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, it does seem like this team needs help. And I think right now, this iteration of this team, I know they made some moves at the deadline. This iteration of this team is not going to win a Super Bowl, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to go deep in the playoffs. I just don't think it's that talented without, a couple other options on offense and probably still some players on defense.
Yeah, I think the one thing I still stand by, though, is like they still have Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Patrick Mahomes. And we kind of have said this with Seattle a lot throughout the years, right? Of like, okay, all they have is Russell Wilson, but then Russell Wilson keeps winning them 12 games. Can't you see like just Mahomes dragging this team, kicking and screaming to the playoffs, which I know that's, underperforming their expectations, but I could still see that happening.
I mean, I think I could see it happening because the 7th seed is definitely attainable. I mean, if you go to the teams that are basically in that 4-4, 3-4, 5-4, whatever the range is, I'd still probably rate them the best of that group. But it's just, I don't know if this team's going to make a playoff run beyond that. Because even when you talk about those Seattle teams, there's a reason since the Legion of Boom they haven't made a Super Bowl. And it's because it's a pretty weak roster outside of their top guys. And I just don't know with guys 5 through 53 on this roster, I don't know if it's good enough to win a Super Bowl or even make a deep run in the playoffs right now. So that's where I have my concerns. I still think it might probably make the playoffs, but I just don't know beyond that.
Yeah, that's just the thing. Is if it was going to happen, they probably would need to add more than Melvin Ingram, who I actually do like that move, but I don't know how much that's, it moves the needle, but how much. Flip side for the Giants, this season has kind of turned into a Daniel Jones tryout. Hey, he wasn't even the best quarterback on his team. Kadarius Toney, elite quarterback, best quarterback in the game. Kadarius Toney,
best quarterback in the game, and then of course gets banged up in this game again. He did come back, but it's just like, can this guy just stay on the field for like 20 consecutive plays offensively, please? Because he had some good stuff going in this game too. So I mean, yeah, I mean it's a rough season for the Giants between the injuries, between the lack of talent. Honestly, there's just a lot that's not going right for this team right now. I think they need it's going to be a big offseason for them. I think a lot of jobs are on the line.
Yeah, they really need to turn things around if guys are going to stay there for a following season. One last thought about the Chiefs. The one bright spot I think you have about Kansas City too is there are like some X's and O's things they could be doing better, right? Like they could start running the ball better. They could start, sort of methodically moving down the field, which can set up stuff down the field. That's kind of like the one thing I'm still holding out for is like there still is the potential. Like this offense is basically the offense we've seen, dominate everybody for the past 3 seasons, really. Like it's not that crazy to think they could get back to that level. So that's the one way you can hold out hope if you're a Chiefs fan.
I think so, but I don't know if I can give them the benefit of the doubt anymore that it's just going to happen. I think it's just kind of
Sure.
like in that mode of I'll believe it when I see it with them because I don't know if they're willing to change off what they do right now.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Let's move on. So let's go to the meat of the episode, the preview for Week 9. We're almost halfway done. And Kyle, look at that scoreboard. You currently have a 2-point lead over me. Lower score is better. How are you feeling after a good couple of weeks? A 0-point week last week.
Yeah, perfect week for me last week. The
Well,
Cowboys are
not
never.
perfect week.
Oh yeah, because I
Zero.
missed two,
Yeah.
but I got the yeah, but never in doubt with the Cowboys. Never in doubt, even though Dak
Right.
didn't play.
Uh
But
huh.
yeah, it feels good to get back on top and take this lead again.
Yeah, we've had a wild back and forth. You led it first. I took the lead back. Now you've taken it back. So we'll see how this goes the rest of the way. Let's just jump into it. I'm going to give you a game to pick. If you've never seen it before, we go back and forth, just giving each other games to pick, and then we break down the games. I'm going to go with uh, not the closest line, but one of the closest lines. I'm going to give you Browns at Bengals. Two teams that for a while, these are the games that we would just not even pay attention to. Now this is the game that's has significant playoff implications. Perhaps. Where are you going, Kyle?
Um, oh man, I had this one pretty high. I think I had this one number 2. Yeah, I did. I have Bengals written on my sheet, and I don't feel comfortable about it. I'm not entirely sure I want to go with that. I'm trying to talk it out here. I still feel like yeah, I'm gonna take the Bengals. Honestly, I feel like this is a bounce
Okay.
back week for them. I think it was a huge letdown to lose that Jets game. I need to look a little more into this team because their defense feels pretty basey. Like they just
Hmm.
kind of sit in their coverage, and
Yeah.
I think their coverage can be thrown on. Is the thing that we're learning, and it was thrown
Hmm.
on last week. However, DJ Reader and the front's a really good run stuffing defensive tackle. So can they slow the Browns down enough? Especially, we've had our whole Baker thing with Baker being hurt. How much are the Browns going to be able to take advantage of that defensive scheme? And how much can the Bengals, limit that rushing attack with Reader in the middle? I feel like that's a huge part of this game. And I feel like that's why I just trust the Bengals a little bit more right here in this spot.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think that again, Cleveland is not fully healthy. There is the whole Odell Beckham Jr. Will he play? Will he not? I think some people are even saying, "Do you want him to play in this situation with how things have gone?" So that there's a whole added wrinkle there. I do think that this both teams are coming off of tough losses, right? The Browns, I think they felt like they should be able to beat the Steelers, were not able to get it done. The Bengals, everyone felt like they should be able to beat the Jets, they weren't able to get it done. And I think the intrigue to me is you have to think guys are going to get open, and Stefanski is going to exploit what he just saw the Jets do against the Bengals defense, and they should be able to move the ball down the field. And if they can't, I mean, throw in the towel.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy to say after Mike White did what Mike White did. But do we
Hmm.
trust Baker in that situation to drop back 30, 35 times and make those throws? Right now, this Baker Mayfield.
I would still say yes. I would say I trust him to put up a Mike White performance.
Yeah. Uh it's just tough to say right now because I just think there's a stink on Baker right now with him playing hurt. I think he's been sloppy this season. I think the injury has really bothered him. It's very clear on that part, but I just think it's going to be really tough for them to throw the ball that much on this team, and that's why I'm taking the Bengals.
Yeah, TJ Levy, who by the way, I always forget if I pronounce your name ever since you said I pronounce your name right. Every single time I say it, I'm like, do I pronounce it? Am I pronouncing it right or not? But he said the wrong. I put the wrong comment on the screen. But can you talk about the Odell Beckham situation? My thing about that is like I just don't know because it seems so speculative. It seems so like I'm hearing reports from this player that says this, or I'm hearing reports from that player who says that. So like, I don't really know how much to take away. So I always kind of just feel like maybe it's the case, maybe it's not. It's kind of, up in the air.
The thing is like I don't know. I feel like you could have said, "Hey, we'll eat this salary if you if you give us a 6 round pick." You know,
Hmm.
I feel like cutting him or
Oh,
doing that.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like they could have just traded him and eaten the salary at that point rather than just cutting him. Because somebody would have taken them for a cheap pay.
Yeah, I think so as well. Like, but the problem is maybe they didn't realize like how bad of a deal. Maybe like Beckham said, "Hey, I want to trade." They, the day of the trade deadline, they say, "Okay, we're not doing that." And then like now he's like, well, now I really want out. Cut me. So now it's like, what do? You know, it could be a situation like that. But again, I'm completely speculating.
Yeah. I have no idea. I'm with you. I don't really know what to think about it. I'll believe it when
Mhm.
I see it. He's welcome in New England, though, if he does get cut. Just got to say that.
Yeah, that does feel like a very Patriots move, I think, of the getting Odell Beckham Jr. Um, for the Bengals in there, and also it would be a great move for the Patriots. For the Bengals,
Yes.
their offense going up against the Browns defense. I think the Browns are a smart enough team to know not to like blitz Joe Burrow that much. I could see that being a bit of an issue on the flip side.
Sorry, what was that? What did you say? I was reading
I
this
was
"Cut Me, Mick, Cut Me" and thinking of Rocky. Great line.
Okay. No, I was saying that I think that the Browns are kind of a smart enough team to say they'll play cover two. We'll play our coverage against Joe Burrow. We won't leave Jamar Chase one-on-one on an island. We're gonna like respect what you're good at. I think that could give Cincinnati some trouble.
I agree. I think they could, but at the same time, like I know this line's not good, but I still kind of believe in Joe Mixon to kind of, you know, I don't think he's just going to let them sit with two safeties deep. I think Joe Mixon's a good enough running back to kind of make them come down every now and then maybe the Bengals can kind of pick their shots. And
Hmm.
then I also think that Chase has played at a elite enough level that maybe it doesn't matter what coverage you throw at him. Maybe if he's still going to get his 7, 8 catches a game just because that's how good he's played this year.
I don't know. I feel like basically all of his catches have come against man coverage, which is like, I mean, that's usually the toughest coverage to go up against. But I do feel like there is a bit of a scheme dependency to him. But the difference is that that scheme dependency is like what's typically the most difficult to get open on. So that's kind of the difference. It doesn't mean he can't. It's just that's what I've seen from him so far.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with that
Mhm.
matchup. But yeah, I mean, I just think on the flip side, I just don't know if I trust this Browns offense right now. So this one's probably going to be a little low scoring, especially compared to what people think. I think, but I think it could be a pretty good game.
Yeah, should be interesting. All right, time for you to give me a game. I have a feeling I know where you're going with this, but why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, I was thinking a few different teams. I'll give you Bears at Steelers. I don't really know what to think of this game.
Oh,
So yeah,
all right, a little surprised this one manages to fall this far, or gets caught, a little bit of a reach, I think, but it was one that I was kind of also higher on, given the the line. It's minus 6.5 for the Steelers, which seems high. Seems like this should not be quite there. I'm going Pittsburgh here. What's interesting about this for me is one thing I'm fascinated on is, Fields struggles with pressure, right? That's kind of the thing that we've talked about. Fields really bad under pressure. Well, this is not a great team to be bad under pressure against, especially with the way that they'll blitz, although they haven't blitzed as much this season. Still something they'll do, and they can get pressure with four as well. That would be concerning for me if I'm a Bears fan. And basically, I mean, on both sides, it's going to be probably a low scoring game, but that's my first thought.
yeah, because I mean, I just think that like one of these defensive lines could honestly win this game for their team, right? Like,
Hmm.
because we know how we know the road, we know the stuff with Justin Fields and how he struggles with reading blitzes and getting people can get after him a little bit. And then on the other side, the Bears could rush four, and do we trust Ben Roethlisberger to avoid a pass rush? Absolutely not.
Hmm.
So I do think that there is some threat of like a Deontay Johnson big play kind of changing this game at the same time. I do feel like this line's way too high, though. Like, I would never trust this Pittsburgh team to cover a 6.5 point spread.
Yeah, I agree. If I was betting, I would bet on the Bears for this one. Well, you say, do you trust Roethlisberger to avoid a pass rush? I trust him to get rid of the ball quickly. I think he's proven he can be capable of doing that. Throw a lot of checkdowns. Like that's probably the pathway to victory here is for Najee Harris to get 10 targets.
Yeah, but is it going to be enough? Is my question. I don't know. I just
I think
this
three might be enough in this one.
really.
I mean, I'm joking a little, but I'm just saying, like, I think there's not going to be a lot of scoring in this one.
Yeah, the surprising thing for me is Pittsburgh's numbers on defense aren't really that good outside of pass rush numbers.
Hmm.
Like you can kind of run on this team and you can kind of throw on this team too. They're not particularly good on either side of the ball. So couldn't the Bears just kind of hunker down and run this ball a whole bunch with Khalil Herbert and Fields, obviously?
Well, that would be the thing is, I guess if that's how you're going to win, it's going to be through running with the football. It's been they're I don't know. I feel like the Steelers they're kind of just a weird again. I don't understand how this team currently has 4 wins. Like it's breaking my brain that this team is actually like been like competent so far this season and is 4-3, because like it seems like they should be like 1-6 with the talent they have on this team. Mike Tomlin, I think he should be in the coach of the year conversation for what he's doing with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I agree. It is pretty crazy what they've been able to do, because this roster is just not very good. I think this is going to be a pretty close game. I think I could talk myself into the Bears, but I'm with you. I think I lean Steelers right now, just because I just don't think Fields has it right now.
Yeah, and the flip side is like it's not like the Bears defense has been awesome. Like it's had its moments for sure, but it's also had its bad moments. I mean, it was not good against the 49ers, and if you can get like a Chase Claypool in a one-on-one matchup against one of these corners, like that's not a bad shot for Pittsburgh to take.
Yeah, I think you feel really good about it if like if Justin Fields can have a good game here. I think you have to feel pretty good about the situation, especially as he's had some not great games. I thought he had a better game last week, so maybe they can continue to put it together.
Yeah, that's true. It's been kind of a wild card so far, so we'll see how that goes. I'm going to give you a game. We have a pick 'em. I'm going to give you this. Kind of surprised that this one is a pick 'em. Cardinals at Niners is at San Francisco. Where are you going here?
Yeah, I was just curious. Does Vegas know something we don't? Because I didn't understand why this was a
Uh-huh.
pick 'em.
Right.
I guess Kyler's like dealing with an ankle thing, because that was the first thing I looked at. Is Kyler like not going to play? But they made it sound like he was going to play. He just might not practice this week. Um, So yeah, I mean, I'd pick the Cards. I think the Cards can win this game. I think they're the better team. Um, I mean, there's really nothing else besides that. I mean, as long as Kyler's on the field, I trust them to win this game pretty handily. I don't know if
Yeah,
I
I
want
think.
to.
Oh,
Yeah, go
so
ahead.
good.
I
Okay,
was just
I'll
saying,
just.
I don't know if I want to lock it just because of I don't know how healthy Kyler is, I guess.
Yeah, and there's the DeAndre Hopkins. How healthy is he? So those are I think the two key factors in this one. But I agree, it is a bit of a surprise what we have currently with these two teams. That this ends up being a pick 'em, because I feel like the Niners have been relatively disappointing this season.
Yeah, I mean, they're not really good at any particular thing. I guess you could say, hey, they're good at slowing down the passing game, but Arizona has a really good running game with the two running backs they have in the backfield, Edmonds and Connor, and also Kyler as well as a running threat. I don't know. I just feel like this is a really odd line to have as a pick 'em, because I mean that's insinuating neutral field. The Cardinals are favored by 3, and I
Mhm.
just don't see that at all. I feel like this is at least a touchdown favorite.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this is one that again, the pick 'em is definitely off. But again, sometimes I'll see some of these things and be like, this line is closer than I would have guessed. So I'm just going to give you that one, because usually when that happens, Vegas tends to be right more often than I am.
Yeah, but everyone's going to hammer this line, and then the Niners are going to win like 27-17.
Yeah. Also, some people in the comments a little bit confused. PK next to the lines, that means pick 'em. So that means there's no favorite. Whoever wins wins. Um, let's move on. Why don't we? Why don't you give me a game?
All right, so I think what everyone's kind of waiting for here, the Raiders against the Giants. Go ahead
Yes.
and go with that with my
All
Chris
right.
Berman impression.
Spot on. Yeah. Not only am I going with the Raiders,
You're
I'm
locking it.
locking up the Raiders. I'm doing it again. I got burned last time, but I'm gonna do it again. I don't know. Raiders -3, so they have to win by 4 for me to get this lock correct. I like the Raiders in this one. I just don't like I don't think the Giants have been that impressive. I know they've had a couple of good weeks, but the Raiders just feel like a significantly better team. I don't see how well Daniel Jones and the Giants offense will be able to move the ball down the field, especially with all the injuries they have. The flip side is I think the Raiders will have no problem moving the ball against the Giants, because they've had no problem moving the ball against anybody. I think the Raiders are good. Obviously, the unfortunate Henry Ruggs situation has made the Raiders a little bit more tough. But if just talking about that from the football perspective, but I still think the Raiders are a good team despite that, and I think that they should win this game.
I agree. I mean, I'm a little concerned just because I really thought Ruggs started to come into his own in the last few weeks, and I thought,
Hmm.
he is the deep threat option on this team, and I think that's a huge part of their offense has been having that receiver kind of, move the safeties a little bit. That guys like Waller, Renfro can work underneath, and I feel like that's going to be bigger to replace than people think. Even if his numbers aren't like a superstar number receiver or superstar receivers number, I just think that that's I just think that's a tough spot to replace. But at the same time, I still feel like they're a much better team. I feel like the offense is still going to be pretty good, even if it's not as good as it was before. I still think there's going to be a good offense. I still think the defense is going to be able to slow down New York. I feel like Max Crosby could eat up this offensive line, and so yeah, I mean, I think the Raiders are a good pick here.
Yeah. Also, other heartbreaking news from the Raiders: Nathan Peterman was cut, so that's also that's tough.
Wow,
Hmm.
who's their backup quarterback now?
I believe Mariota. I'm not
Oh
sure. I
yeah,
guess he
that's
must be
true. I
healthy.
forgot about him.
Uh
I
huh.
forgot he's still with the team. Remember when they
John
thought he
Gruden
would
loves
replace
love his.
Derek Carr?
What's that?
Remember there was speculation that
Uh
that was to
huh.
replace Derek Carr?
Right. Right. Yeah. That was
Like we
wild
didn't see
times.
Mariota play for 5 years, and like, oh wait, this guy's not very good.
Yeah, that was yes. The Raiders are good. Should be an interesting matchup. I do think that maybe the Giants with their sort of zone coverage could make it a little more difficult for the Raiders, but probably not. I think the Raiders will go away with this. I mean, how do the okay? I guess good news to report. Peterman got signed back to the practice squad, so at least he's on the practice squad.
Well, they got that going for them. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, it feels like doesn't it just feel like that 20 is going to win this game though for the Raiders? Like even
Mhm.
if they slow it down a little bit this week, and they struggle without their deep threat for 1 week because it was such a sudden release, I still feel like 20 is going to win the game. Like,
Yeah, I think so as well, and I think that with the Giants, like I guess the one thing you have is they have like they lost to Kansas City by 3, right? Like they beat the Saints, they have had some decent like weeks, so maybe if you get hot, but then again, it's like I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I don't see it either. Like I said, I think that this pass rush is still going to be able to. I just think they're going to eat up the Giants' offensive line. Honestly, they got a good pass rush, and I think they're going to get after it. So, uh, regardless of what happens on the opposite side of the ball.
I like this comment. Peterman is the practice squad G, and then next comment OAT, and then finally I hit the button too early. Great stuff here by Peter.
Well, he is the. I guess he has that going for him.
Yeah, the
Practice
practice
squad
squad
goat,
GOAT. GOAT.
G Oat. Didn't he go to
Yes.
Pittsburgh? Is that where he's from college?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. They got another kid coming up who's pretty good too. So
Okay. Could be the next Peterman.
could be the next Peterman. He's like 24, so you love
All right. There you go.
him.
Yes. All right. Um, let's move on. I'm gonna give you a game here. I'm gonna do a similar thing where it's like I'm surprised by this line, so I'm just gonna give you the line that's weirdly close. I'm gonna give you Chargers at Eagles. Where are you going here, Kyle?
I am gonna go with the Chargers. I thought long and hard about this game because I didn't understand this either. I had it way lower on my list too. Like I feel like the Chargers are the better team. I guess the argument for this is that like I don't know. So what is the argument? That the Chargers run defense is so bad that the Eagles are gonna run all over them?
Yeah, I would assume that's the argument, and then maybe on the flip side, with the Chargers offense, maybe it didn't have its best day against New England, and New England Philadelphia basically the same defense. Not really, but I don't know the argument on that side at all. But
Yeah, I know.
on the first side, yeah, I'm assuming that's it. Is just the run defense, and then if you're running the ball a lot, less possessions, upsets are more likely to happen.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit where the blitz Justin Herbert's team, the Eagles hardly ever blitz. This is not what this defense likes to do at all. They like to rush with four.
Hmm.
Um, and I just feel like the Chargers are going to be able to move the ball. So even if the Eagles run all over it, all over the Chargers, I still feel like in a track meet the Chargers are going to win this game because they have the better passing offense, and I think they win that way.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, it seems like the Chargers are the better team here, so I'm inclined to agree. I mean, especially Chargers. Maybe part of it too is just Chargers coming off of back-to-back disappointing losses. They got blown out by the Ravens and then lose to a Patriots team that they were favored by 5.5 points. So maybe that's just factoring in. It's like they've been underperforming these past couple of weeks.
Yeah. I mean, it could be, but at the same time, I still just feel comfortable with it. You want a hot take, I guess?
Sure.
There's going to be a lot of questions about Jalen Hurts at the end of this game.
Okay. Why do you say this?
I I'll say this. I think he has over 2 turnovers in this game. I think he has 3 or more. I think he's going to struggle throwing the ball in this defense. I think he's going to make mistakes, and I think Brandon Staley's going to kind of eat him alive in the passing game. And I think that I think there's going to be questions about his future in Philly after that.
Yeah, but I gotta be honest, maybe not the hottest of takes.
You know what? Not everything can be blazing hot, you know.
I mean, you set it up very much like, are we ready for this scorching hot? Ready to you're everyone watching here as it's getting colder is going to be warmed up with how hot this take is. Hey, I think there might be some questions about Daniel Jones after this game. Hey, maybe people will start to wonder if Ben Roethlisberger has been washed up. Like I think there's already those questions out there.
Okay, this is like a like a chai tea heat level of take, not overly hot, but just right.
A warm take.
A warmish take, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, well, I think that's certainly possible. Again, when teams play coverage, which the Chargers do, Hurts struggles, so it does seem logical. But again, 1.5 point spread. Apparently, this is a complete I guess the Eagles would be favored if this is a neutral site. So kind of. Or no, I said that backwards. It's in Philadelphia, so that's part of why it's the case, which maybe that's another factor.
We should just do an entire podcast on lukewarm takes.
Oh, I like that. The lukewarm takeoff.
Just nothing controversial or interesting at all. Just,
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is still a top 5 quarterback in football.
Yeah, that actually might be a hot take, again, given the way some people talk about him, but I think that's a conversation for another day. Let's move on. Why don't you give me a game?
All right. Let's see here. Where am I going to go with this? I am going to give you Falcons at Saints.
Falcons at Saints. I'm a little bit lower on this. I do have the Saints winning. Saints are 6-point favorites. So here's my thought, Kyle. A couple years back, Drew Brees missed 5 games. Everyone said, that's going to be tough for the Saints to make the playoffs now. Drew Brees is out 5 games. Teddy Bridgewater steps in, goes 5-0. The following year, you have Taysom Hill starting in 4 games. Everyone's kind of saying, oh, what are they going to be able to win the division with Taysom Hill playing here? Taysom Hill goes 3-1. This year, people are like, well, Drew Brees is gone. Will they be able to have success with Jameis Winston? Jameis Winston goes 5-2. Now Jameis Winston is gone. Everyone's saying, are you going to have success with Trevor Siemian and Taysom Hill? I think you can't doubt Sean Payton no matter who the quarterback is because he's had success with okay quarterbacks for forever. I have faith that this Saints team can at least beat Falcons team that's not very good.
I agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, there's going to come a day where Sean Payton can't work a miracle. Now, if Taysom Hill plays this game, then obviously I think I trust the Saints a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if he's going to be able to just roll with Trevor Siemian the whole season and just be fine. And especially that I don't think this Saints team is as good as the Saints team of the past couple of seasons too, which I think adds to it. But I do think they win this game, but I do think it might eventually catch up to them, just not this week.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought as well. It's I think it's fair to say, okay, they're a worse team without Jameis Winston. Like every team is a worse team when you lose your starting quarterback. For the most part, I guess the Jets got better with Mike White, but for typically when you lose your starting quarterback, worse things happen. I do think that though, they should be able to move the ball with efficiency against the Falcons. And the flip side is, are the Falcons going to be able to move the ball that well against the Saints defense? Saints defense has been playing well. So you got both sides there.
Yeah, they have been playing well. So I think that leads me to believe that the Saints win, especially because I think Ridley's going to be out again. That's going to be a tough situation for the Falcons passing game.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, you caught me in the middle of blowing my nose. I agree. I saw... And Peter said, don't take fashion tips from the show. How dare you, Peter? We are fashionistas.
What's wrong with the San Antonio Spurs? I don't get it. I don't know.
I like that hat.
It's a very nice hat.
But then again, Peter says you shouldn't take fashion advice from me, so maybe it's bad then.
I don't know, man.
All right. Sorry. Completely different.
I got nothing on that. It's okay.
Okay. Let's move on. Falcons at Saints. Falcons play the Saints this week. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Matt Ryan's been kind of a complete coin flip this season where either you get a good game or you get a bad game from him. It's kind of just you hope you don't end up with landing on tails and now you have good Matt Ryan to play against.
Yeah, I kind of agree, but at the same time, I just don't know how much of good Matt Ryan's left is the question, right?
I mean, he's had good weeks this week. I mean, this season. He's been up and down, but he's had good weeks.
Yeah, I think so too, but I just don't know how much of it's left. Honestly, I just don't know. Like, I feel like this Falcons team really just needs a facelift, right? Like, they just, as much as I, have liked Matt Ryan throughout his career, it just seems like it's time to kind of move on.
I don't disagree. I'm not saying that, like, Matt Ryan, like, you keep him. I'm just saying there is a chance that Matt Ryan does well. Like, that's another factor that comes into this.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. And we've seen the Saints pass defense play incredible against the Buccaneers and also let down against some other teams. So maybe
Hmm.
this is one of those weeks that happens. I just don't know if it can happen with Ridley out.
Yeah, could there be, sort of maybe perhaps a letdown for the Saints of, they again defense currently third in points per drive, but could you see maybe them having a bit of a letdown after, so much went into winning last week?
Absolutely. I felt like that was a huge game for them playing the team that knocked them out of the playoffs, obviously.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I completely agree that it could be a letdown game. It just might not matter. I mean, yeah, I gave you this game though because I think it's going to be closer than 6 points. I don't see the Saints team really blowing anybody out anymore.
Yeah, I think I think that's fair. Let's move on. Let's go to. I'll give you a game. I'll give you one of the more interesting games I think heading into this week. I'm a little bit surprised by this line as well, being so far. I'm going to give you Titans at Rams. Rams favored by 7.5. And where do you want to go with this?
I'm taking the Rams. I think that so I guess we should talk about that. Obviously, Derrick Henry being out for potentially the season sucks, I guess is the
Hmm.
first part. It really sucks to not see him out there because I mean he's been like a machine the past couple of years. And I'm interested to see how it works out because I think we're gonna see the true value of a running back in the NFL. Like if this Titans team is still good after this, like are running backs ever gonna get a contract again?
Yes,
You think
Teams
so?
don't view that way. Of course, teams have been done stuff for centuries, and football's only been going on for 1 century.
Yeah, but I just feel like I don't know. It seems really hard to think about it that way when it's like this is literally our quintessential like elite running back and an offense completely designed around him. I feel like the Titans are still going to be able to move the ball okay. Honestly, I think they're going to be okay offensively. I think it's going to hurt a little bit, but at the same time, I still believe in the guys they have in the passing game. I still believe in Ryan Tannehill, so I think they're going to be okay. And I do have the Saints winning. I do have the Rams winning this one just because I believe in their coverage. Shut this game down. Adding Von Miller is only going to help. So yeah, I got the Rams winning.
Yeah, I mean, I think having the Rams to win this feels correct. I think that's the right take. I think the Rams are a very good team, and one of the more intriguing matchups I see with this game actually is going to be this Rams passing attack against this vastly improved Titans secondary. It's been playing good football, and I don't know how much of that is just scheme based. And if it is scheme based, I trust Sean McVay to exploit that scheme. But that's an interesting wrinkle here.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is going to be very interesting. I don't know. Like, I just think that I don't know. I think Tennessee is going to struggle in this game, but I think overall the Rams are going. I think overall they're going to be fine. I think that's kind of my take on Tennessee right now, and why I think that Rams are going to win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't fully disagree. One interesting thing about the Derrick Henry aspect of it all as well is, Henry has one game where he averaged 5.2 yards per attempt, and then he had the game against Buffalo where he averaged 7.1 yards per attempt. You take out that, he hasn't averaged over 5 yards per attempt any other game. In the past 2 weeks, he's averaging under 3 yards per attempt, and this is with a ton of carries. The 29 carries in week 7, 28 carries in week 8. So again, a big chunk of that is because teams are stacking the box, which maybe they won't do. But there is an element of like, okay, well, you're not actually getting a ton of value with Henry. The biggest thing about Henry that you've gotten so far this season, with the exception of the Bills game, has been just the name on the back of his jersey.
Yeah, but I think I don't. I think so, but at the same time, no. I don't agree. I think that the problem is that it changes your whole offense when he's not out there because teams load up. I mean, I
That's what I'm
think that's what.
saying. The
Yeah,
biggest benefit is the fact that the way teams play him. It's not what he's actually doing, which is still that's a big benefit. I'm not saying it isn't,
yeah.
but that's what he's bringing to the table.
It just opens up a lot more for your offense, and I think that's really important. So, I think they can eventually adjust out of it. I just don't know if it's going to happen this week against the second best pass offense in football. Um, so, I mean, yeah, I mean, or actually, let me see here. They're actually 10th on a per play basis, but overall, it's one of the best pass offenses of defenses in football. I don't know if they're going to be able to scheme their way out of it when they're dropping in coverage.
Yeah, again, just to be clear, so the argument is he forces teams into 8-man boxes. That gives Tannehill's more windows to throw down the middle. And I understand the argument. I fully get what the benefit is, and the fact that even with a stacked box, he can still get like 3 yards per carry or 4 yards per carry. Like that still is valuable. I'm not trying to pretend like Derrick Henry isn't valuable. I'm just saying there's ways you can win without that, and it's not. I'm not sure how much the value truly. I think the Titans. Maybe this is the hot take, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I think I would rather the Titans without Derrick Henry than without Ryan Tannehill.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe because quarterback's just so
Mhm,
important. The problem is that there's good running backs, Like, I think McNichols is gonna be okay, you know? Like, I
mhm.
don't know, like, there's not a backup quarterback option is the problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's part of that's part of the whole point is that a replacement level running back can come in and do well. A replacement level quarterback kind of can't.
Yeah. So, I think that's a fair take.
Mhm.
I think it's gonna be interesting to see how this offense looks. I think the next 2 weeks of the Titans is gonna tell a lot. Even if they struggle this week, I think going forward, it's gonna be interesting to watch this team.
Yeah, I'm very fascinated in just how. And one of the worst things about this for the Titans, like this would be the perfect week to have Derrick Henry, right, against the Rams, against a team that says, "Okay, you can run on us." So that's kind of just like the worst
Yeah.
possible time for this to happen.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough situation because this is the team you wanted to run the ball on. So we'll see what happens in this one. I think the matchup now just kind of favors the Rams a lot more, I think.
Yeah, I mean the Rams should be favored in this game. I'm not saying they aren't, but I'm just saying when you have two good like playoff caliber teams, like anything can happen.
What do you think of Von Miller on this team?
I think it's great. I think again, I love this stuff. Go all in, make trades, give it the and like what? So they're going to be screwed for the future for the next 10 years because they don't have a second and third round pick. No, they already don't have picks to begin with. I think that making this trade, adding a good pass rusher who can be next to Aaron Donald, it does add value. I know I'm the pass rush is overrated guy. It doesn't mean it doesn't matter. And adding Von Miller, that should add just give them an extra boost.
Yeah, and I think the interesting too is I was looking at him and kind of looking at his PFF numbers is how great he's been against the run too. His run
Mhm.
grade is just off the charts. It's been better than his pass rush grade. So adding a guy who can kind of be the two-way player, and like we were just saying, this is kind of the team you want to run on. If you can't do that on the Rams, then all of a sudden, what do you do?
Yeah, I think it should be a. I think it's a fantastic fit. You're right, and that might matter more. Like I do think that like having those two guys, Von Miller and Aaron Donald, it's not just the pass rush. It is. You're right. It's the okay. They can now play a quarters coverage and still be able to stop the run because that's great. You can block everybody, but now you have a center trying to block Aaron Donald, and he loses immediately, and you lose 2 yards anyways.
Yeah. So I think that's gonna be a fun team. I think it probably moves the needle for me a little bit too. I think this team's gonna be able to win. I mean, I already had them in the Super Bowl, so I don't know how much more can move the needle for me unless I say, hey, I think they beat Buffalo now. So um, we'll see
Hmm.
what happens with this team. But hey, they can throw the ball, they can defend the pass. That's the two biggest things in football. And then you have a guy now who can also rush the passer and also stop the run. I think that just adds a huge amount to this team.
Yeah, I like this. Luke Brown says, Jackson, we need a workout stream. Maybe at 1 million subscribers, give me to 1 million. I'll do a workout stream, and Kyle will join me.
I don't know about that one, but yeah, sounds good. We'll do it.
All right, there we go. Yeah, so yeah, should be an interesting game, and if the Titans can win this one, I mean, Titans have kind of keep continuing to answer the bell, right? Like they beat Buffalo, they beat Kansas City, they blew out Kansas City. They do beat the Colts, which was a hyped up divisional matchup. So they keep answering the bell here, but this is a bigger bell to answer. That's not an expression.
I kind of thought that I was kind of going to pick the Rams anyway before Henry got hurt. Hasn't that kind
Mhm.
of been the theme of this season? Is we see these teams like, especially in the AFC, whip off 2 to 3 really difficult wins and then have
Mhm.
the huge letdown loss like it happened with Baltimore, then it happened to Cincinnati. It just felt like that maybe this is the Titans' turn to kind of have that loss, even though it's not really a letdown loss because this is an incredible team. But still, like the bill might finally be due on a loss.
Yeah, well, what's interesting, that's kind of a good point about the AFC in general is like, don't you kind of think like, hey, the Chiefs kind of do have a shot here just because like there's no real like clear favorite in the AFC. Like you could see them just like getting hot at the right time. Like all these teams, like, kind of I feel like more than anything, it's going to be who happens to get hot. In the first week of the playoffs.
Yeah, I still feel like I'm kind of just waiting on Buffalo to put it all together. Like outside of the Kansas City game, they really haven't.
Hmm.
And I feel like if that team just puts it all together, I just think it's going to be tough to stop. But I agree, we kind of need to see it all get put together with that team first.
Yeah, it's very fascinating. I mean, there's legitimately like I feel like there's like a dozen teams in the league right now. I'm like, yeah, they could win a Super Bowl.
I mean, I'm trying to go off the top of my head. I think, I think if I were to bet right now, I'd probably take one of the 5 of the NFC. Honestly,
Yeah, because I mean, these are the teams. So it's Dallas. They got the Cardinals and the Rams, and then you have the Packers and the Buccaneers in the NFC. I think any of those 5 could win. I think, and like by could win, I mean has like a decent chance. In the AFC, you have Buffalo. You have like the Ravens. I think it's fair to put them in there. I think it's fair to put the Titans in there. I think, and teams you could put in there like the Raiders, the Bengals. You could throw in the Chiefs. You could throw in the Patriots, perhaps. Like it's a wide open season so far.
so let's say this: if I gave you the 5 NFC teams or the field, what would you take?
Ooh, I think give me the field because I got at least a 50-50 shot in the NF in the AFC of whoever wins there in the Super Bowl. Plus, there's always some random team could come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's interesting though because I do feel like if I rank the teams right now, I'd probably put those as the top 5. Uh, when I go like
Interesting. So you wouldn't put Buffalo ahead of like Green Bay or Dallas.
I'd probably have them ahead of Dallas. I'd probably have Dallas 6 and Buffalo 5.
Yeah,
Like I said,
it's
I think Buffalo at its full strength when everything comes together is probably in the top 3. We've just only seen that once this season, right?
Yeah, well, but that's also kind of Buffalo, right? It's like they're
Yeah.
they're very like up and like that's Josh Allen to a T. Is like he'll be awesome one week and then he'll have a letdown week. Part of it is he's played Miami twice, who always gives him trouble for some reason. So that's another aspect.
So, yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, I think it's interesting though. We'll see what happens with that, but we can move on. My turn to give you a game, right?
Yep.
All right, everyone's marquee game of the week. I know we're all tuning in. Texans at Mammals. Who
Oh
do you
yeah,
got?
here we go. This one's gonna be good. Might watch it a second time. Might watch it a third time. Very much looking forward to Texans at Mammals here. I am going with give me the Mammals. Give me the Miami Dolphins. Miami Mammals, kind of not the worst, name there. Just realized, put that together.
Anytime I hear it, I just think of Community, where the community college is their team name's the Human Beings. I don't know if you've
Hmm.
watched the show. It
Yeah.
kills me every time. But
Uh-huh.
I just think
Yeah. Like,
Miami Mammals, the Miami Human Beings.
yeah, it is. It's very good. Yeah. Speaking of football, so
Yeah.
the Texans are not a good football team. The good thing is they're playing another team who isn't good at football. That's good. The hard hitting analysis I have here. I'll give you something, a bit of a hot take. How about this? You want a slightly, maybe a warm take?
Go for it.
Okay, a warm to hot take. Tua's playing good. I think Tua's played good the past few weeks. Like I think there's like stuff to like about Tua. Like we've all made our decision. Like okay, Tua sucks. Let's move off of him. And then like he started like playing good football these past few weeks. Will it continue? I don't know, but I think he's
Yeah.
played solid these past few weeks.
I agree. I think he's shown some good stuff. I think the thing is that I think I mentioned it on Sunday too. It's like right now his 5 bad throws are really bad.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that's kind of what's derailing him. If he doesn't have those 5 bad throws a game, he's a good quarterback. But he's had some bad throws in each of the losses too, and I think that's a problem. But I just think, wouldn't it be hilarious? Is as Deshaun Watson's on the sideline and he's been batting his eyelashes at Miami
Hmm.
basically since the offseason started and has basically been pleading for them to trade it for him. Wouldn't it be hilarious if the Texans just go in and win this game by like 20?
That would be good. That would be, yeah. I can see that. Also, kind of a wild thing about the Deshaun Watson stuff was that Deshaun Watson literally said that he would only waive his no trade clause to Miami. Like that's kind of an underrated thing about this. Like he literally wait, what? This guy somehow still has leverage here. It's not just that he could be traded. That was odd to me.
And the funniest thing is that the whole point of this was he wanted to go to a good team.
Right.
Like, has he seen this team this season? Like, honestly, I don't get it. I don't know. Anyway, besides that, I've had enough of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about Deshaun Watson anymore.
I just think it'd be hilarious, though, if the Texans win in and win this game after all that.
Yeah, I think one thing is okay, I still do like Brian Flores as a coach. I know this season has been a mess. I blame it on talent more than I blame it on coaching. The Texans are intentionally having Lovie Smith be their defensive coordinator. I think that there's no reason that a team should struggle offensively against a Lovie Smith led defense, especially when they're intentionally starting Vernon Hargraves. Like these are decisions that they said, yes, let's do this. Let's go into the season with this as something that we're going to do. I just feel like the Miami Dolphins or Miami Mammals, whatever you want to call them, or at least a competently built football team.
I agree. And I think they're going to win because of that. This Texans team looks like a 1-16 team.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I mean, yeah, they're not good. I don't know about Tyrod Taylor or if he's going to come back soon. I think he comes back, they'll look better, but I still don't know if that would be enough.
I agree. So we can move on from that one. We don't need to spend too much time on that.
All right. Let's talk about one that we thought was going to be, I'm going to give you this one, a game that we thought was going to be a super awesome game to watch. Packers at Chiefs. Aaron Rodgers ends up getting COVID, will not be able to play in this game. Instead, we have a Chiefs as 7-point favorites. Where are you going here, Kyle?
I'm going Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I think, I picked the Packers last week without some of their guys, and they ended up, what happened?
You gave it to me.
Yeah,
I picked the Cardinals, so maybe
I kind of mentioned I
mm-hmm.
think I could see the Packers winning this game a certain way with some of their guys out.
Mm-hmm.
They did win the game, but at the same time, I think missing Aaron Rodgers is a big deal, obviously. So I think it's tough. I don't love Packers man-to-man defense.
Against Packers?
Well, Jordan Love, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like the Packers man-to-man defensive scheme against Tyreek Hill. I feel like that's going to be a problem. Even if this Chiefs offense hasn't looked like a Chiefs offense of normal, I think that's a recipe for disaster. So I think the Chiefs do win this one, even if their offense isn't at full strength.
Yeah, I think this is that should be interesting. I mean, what do you do? Okay, you have Eric Stokes, who is this fast corner who can at least keep up with Tyreek Hill. There's no way he's going to be able to keep up with the moves Tyreek Hill can put on. So it's not. That's not. You can't. No one can keep up with Hill in a one-on-one matchup. Teams have tried. It's never gone well. I think the other fascinating thing is I actually think the Packers, I don't think it's a horrible situation having Jordan Love in there instead of Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this is I don't think that's a disaster necessarily. I do think just from what I've seen about Jordan Love from evaluating his game, I could see him be the kind of guy who, makes some poor decisions. Perhaps that could be maybe some life in this Chiefs defense is you could at least get a couple turnovers, which they might need because they don't, they're bottom 5 defense right now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even if I don't believe in the Chiefs, I'm just not going to pick them against the backup. I'm not going to pick against them against the backup quarterback. I don't really know what situation it'd have to be for me to pick that. I just think that even if Love is able to move the ball, I don't trust him to move the ball to the same extent that the Chiefs can. So, I mean, this is another game, though. It's if the Chiefs manage to lose this now without Rodgers on the field, you're definitely hitting the panic button a few dozen times. But I do think they should be able to win this game and at least slow down the Packers enough.
Yeah. Luke Brown says, imagine what would happen if Jordan Love outplays Mahomes. Kyle, I have a fun hypothetical.
Okay.
Jordan Love comes out, bad defense, 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, incredible game, right? You could see that happening where he lights up a bad Chiefs defense. That's an achievable thing to see, especially when Mahomes is scoring on the other side. You're going to want to keep up, keep passing, gets a lot of that going. Maybe Rodgers, but I believe the way he's supposed to come back is he would come back the day before the Seahawks game. Maybe they give Love another game. What if he does well then? Could we see a quarter? Could we see this be the end of Rodgers' career?
Oh boy,
I mean,
End of his career. That seems a little harsh.
Well, at least for the Packers, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, no. I mean, I still think whenever he comes back, he's going to play. But, you know, I definitely think there's going to be, you know, if Love plays well, though, you know, you're still optimistic about the future of this team. It's still a pretty good roster around him. I don't know why, you know, I continue to say this. I have no idea why Rodgers was complaining about the roster makeup of the Packers, like he's on the Texans or something right now. You know, he's got a pretty good team around him. So if Love plays well, you got to be feeling pretty good about the future around him.
Yeah, I don't agree with this comment. Rodgers is playing at an MVP level. He hasn't. I mean, he hasn't done much this season. He's kind of, I mean, a lot of that's been by design. But he's been fine. But he hasn't. I wouldn't say he's been like how much has he elevated the team? Kind of by design, they haven't had him do. Like he's been good, but he hasn't been MVP level.
There's been better guys than him. I think that's the thing. Like I think he's been good, but there's been better guys. I think Brady's been better. I think Stafford's been better. I think Carr's been better. Kyler, yeah, obviously. So, I mean, there's just been better guys.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. We can agree to disagree. I don't really think that's going to happen. I think that Rodgers will get the job back as soon as he's there. But it is the interesting kind of thing of if Jordan, you know, I'm excited to see Jordan Love play. You know, he's been kind of weirdly like one of the most hyped up prospects of all time, just given the situation of him getting drafted behind Rodgers, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely becoming an interesting situation because there's all this drama about the pick, and now he's been on the sideline this whole time. So now he's going to get in a meaningful game. We'll see how he does.
Yeah, it's again, people are not happy with our takes on Rodgers. Listen, I've watched every snap Rodgers has taken. That's my opinion. We don't have to agree. It's fine. Rodgers is good. I'm not saying Rodgers is bad, but whatever.
Aaron Rodgers is terrible. No, I'm just kidding. You know, yeah, I agree. He's been good, but I think there's just been better quarterbacks, so it's okay. Let's move on. Speaking of better quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins, Vikings at Ravens.
Yes, so the Kirk
really
Cousins,
trying to rile up the chat.
Yeah, just really get everyone going. The two things Chad is not a fan of is Aaron Rodgers slander or Kirk Cousins praise. Rodgers and Cousins do have something in common, though.
What's that?
I think it's maybe it's a certain yeah.
I got you now. I'm with you. Okay.
Yes. Going to Vikings at Ravens here. Ravens are 6-point favorites. I am going with Baltimore, but I think this is a solid pick by you to give it to me because there is that the Vikings do have talent here, and if the Ravens decide time to blitz all day, it's which would be stupid because then the Vikings would actually have these have no choice but to take advantage of these one-on-one matchups. But we've seen the Ravens blitz themselves into trouble before, so I don't think it's a crazy thing that could happen. So there is upset potential here with the Minnesota, although I would still pick the Ravens to win.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would pick them to win too. I think there's an interesting thing to this. So the Ravens secondary, I can't believe they're saying this with the Ravens secondary, but their pass defense hasn't been that good this season. They really haven't been that good in that end of the field. I am praying that Kubiak and Zimmer come out gunning, and not only do it on the first drive where they typically go out and score on the first drive and then never throw the ball downfield again. I pray that they go the whole game throwing the ball downfield because I think they're going to be able to attack this defense, like you said, which makes it interesting. I would still pick the Ravens just because I don't trust the Vikings to actually do it. That's the problem. I haven't had trust in this Vikings coaching staff this season, and that's why I picked the Ravens in this one. They have better coaching.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Counterpoint, isn't it the most Kirk Cousins thing ever to completely stink it up on a primetime game only to then go off on the Sunday 1 o'clock game the next week?
Absolutely. It absolutely is. But, I don't know. We'll see what happens with this one. I mean, there definitely is I actually think the matchup of this game lends itself to Minnesota. I just, like I said, I don't know if Minnesota and their coaching staff and their game plan is going to take advantage of that matchup.
Yeah, you're probably right. What if Baltimore's playing cover 0 and the Vikings just still keep running the ball?
They run the ball 33 times and you're just oh my God.
It was driving me crazy. I was watching the game and it's they run the ball first down. They run the ball another first down. Then they go to the next first down. And it's like, okay, 5 wide. It's like, wait, what? Why are we doing? Isn't the whole point to set things up? Why are you now when you're passing so much, you're putting your halfback out wide? No, you guys are doing this wrong. This is not how you don't establish the run and then say, hey, just so you know, guys, we're not running on this one, so don't worry about it. We'll just that's not how that works.
It's a mess right now. It really is. I hope that they put it together in this one because I do think they can win it. I just don't trust them to do it.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think weirdly, even though you gave me the game, I actually think I'm higher on the Vikings than you are.
I mean, I like this Vikings team. I've been saying from the beginning that I like their talent. I just don't trust them to use it. So I don't know. Until I actually see them come out and throw the ball 40, 45 times a game, I'm never going to believe they actually do it.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable. And even when they do throw it a lot, it's usually because they're down so much because of their cautious offense in the first half.
Yeah.
I guess I was going to go off. We can another minute just talk about the Ravens for a second. Just I mean, I expect the Ravens offense to continue to do well. The Vikings have had a good secondary, but how much have they been able to do front seven? I mean, their secondary has been up and down. So really, I think the Ravens could be able to run the ball well. Seems like this could be a game where you see the Vikings like play cover 3 all day, and then the Ravens just scheme up stuff to throw over the top.
Yeah, I mean the Vikings run defense hasn't been too great, but at the same time, like Anthony Barr is kind of a running back a linebacker you could kind of feel like could hang with Lamar a little bit. No one's really athletically built to handle Lamar, I think, but at the same time, you kind of feel like he could. I just don't know if it's going to be enough at the end of the day. I still think they're going to be able to run the ball, and then, like you said, it's going to set up chances down the field.
Yeah. Also, an all-time kicking mismatch. I mean, you got the GOAT kicker versus whoever's kicking for the Vikings is going to miss something.
Is it not that Joseph guy anymore?
I believe it is. I'm just saying it's just a Vikings kicker, just any Vikings kicker. If these two teams traded kickers, then Justin Tucker would be the worst kicker of all time.
That's probably true.
Or actually, that's not fair. He would miss the key kicks.
Yeah. And difficult times for the Vikings with those kickers.
Yes, difficult times for the past 70 years or so for Vikings fans. Let's move on. So I'm going to give you a game. I'm going to give you your team here. I'm going to go Patriots at Panthers. I mean, listen, a 3.5-point spread, making it all the way this far. Kyle, where are you going here? Are you locking up your team, the New England Patriots?
I am locking up the New England Patriots. I feel pretty good about this game. I wish it was 2.5, so then I get that field goal hook, but I think it's kind of designed that way. But I think New England can go into Carolina and win this game. First of all, let's start on the obvious side. Who trusts Sam Darnold? Who?
The Panthers. Matt Rule emphatically trusts Sam Darnold more than anyone has ever trusted their quarterback.
Well, nobody should. And I think that we're going to eat him for lunch and probably save some for dinner too. And we're going to eat that too. He's going to be seeing ghosts out there. He's going to make mistakes. The Patriots are going to get the ball. The one variable of this game that scares me is McCaffrey. It sounds like is going to be back. And Dante Hightower and Jawan Bentley against Christian McCaffrey is going to be an issue. Those guys definitely aren't built to cover McCaffrey. Those guys aren't good coverage linebackers. I think that's going to be a problem. I think the solution is going to be seeing more Adrian Phillips in the box as he was on that pick 6. He's going to be in the box covering a lot of Christian McCaffrey because they don't have the linebackers to do it. And, I think we can at least slow him down a little bit in that way. So I think that the Patriots defense lends itself to this. I think that the Panthers can't stop the run as well as they defend the pass and rush the passer. That lends itself to us because we're going to run the ball a whole lot. We're going to run the ball a whole lot and set up the pass through our play action game, hit tight ends, hit Jacoby Myers across the middle. And I think the Patriots are going to, I think they're going to win this one pretty easily. I think the Patriots are winning this one by at least 7.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable. Here's one interesting thing I want to talk about. Talking about matchups. Every rookie quarterback struggles against the blitz. Even Jones, who's been the best rookie quarterback against the blitz, is still the out of the 32 starting quarterbacks, he's been the 5th worst. The only 4 he's ahead of are the other 4 rookie quarterbacks. It takes time to learn how to handle NFL blitzes. Panthers blitz top 5 in the NFL. Is that a concern at all?
A little bit, but at the same time, I just feel like we're still going to be able to run the ball, and it kind of eases up on the passing game. As soon, it's not easy to ping your ears back and go after the quarterback when you're running the ball all the time and getting 5-6 yards off a carry. Damian Harris has played really well the past 3 weeks. I think that continues in this game, and it really helps the team out. And yeah, I mean, I think there is some struggles with it. I think it's going to be fine, though. I still believe in Mac Jones, and I think a lot of those numbers, too, probably lend itself to the receivers not getting open also more so than Jones struggling all the time against the blitz.
Yeah, but, it goes both ways. I mean, if it's the receivers or the quarterback's fault in terms of one game, who cares?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a huge Hunter Henry game in the passing game. I think if we use the passing game, I think Hunter Henry is going to have monster numbers in this one.
I see. And then, so some people are questioning, isn't Sam not playing? I believe Sam Darnold is listed as limited. So, again, how much of a drop-off is there with P.J. Walker? I mean, there was in the one game we saw of P.J. Walker was a massive drop-off. P.J. Walker currently is the worst quarterback in football of 2021 because of the one drive he had where he stunk. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if Sam's not playing, somehow that's even better. So lends itself to us winning.
Yeah, I forgot about the whole Sam Darnold making not his return to New England, but playing New England again.
Bill Belichick is just sitting by his fireplace now with the evil grin on his face, just ready. He's ready to face Sam Darnold.
Yes. All right. Want to move on?
Yeah, we can move on.
Okay.
3 games left. 3 of our marquee games left. Jets at Colts.
All right, Jets at Colts. So I'm going to pick, again, Jets, all the hype, end up being 10.5-point underdog. This is the Thursday night game. Kyle, I have an idea, a plan. I believe, most people in the NFL listen to this podcast. So if someone can pass this message to Mike White, I have a good plan for him. Here's what you do. First play, my calf hurts. I got a leg thing. I can't, I need to head out. Fake an injury, get out of here. You're going to make way more money this offseason. Quit while you're ahead.
Yeah, I don't think competitive guys are going to do that, though. But, it's a good theory. Now, the funny thing would be is if he lights up another defense.
Yeah, that would be incredible if he does it again.
He goes for 350, a couple touchdowns. All of a sudden, the Jets are in this game at the end of it. I don't think it's going to happen, though. But...
Yeah. Okay. Hey, anyways, we can talk about the football. If you don't like my hypothetical, we can just move on.
It's okay. I mean, it'd be pretty funny if you just said, "Hey, I got $35 million on the line."
Yeah. I mean, couldn't you see like Washington giving him a 2-year, $20 million deal for just one game? I mean, how much did Matt Flynn get after that one game? If the problem is when you play the second game, Taylor Heineke. If he's getting a free agent deal now, he's not making anywhere near as much as he made because if he quit while he was ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out because he is definitely going to regress. I am willing to say he won't have over 400 yards passing. Hot take.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's fun about it too is okay, really what Mike White did was just take checkdowns all game. That's what happened that's the thing. And what he did well was he just got rid of the ball quickly. He made quick decisions. I actually think that could actually do okay against this Colts defense. But I almost feel I think there's 2 different things, Kyle. I think that when you play the best team in football, if you play Tampa Bay, who's reigning champs and has all this stuff, you're giving it your best. You're game planning. You really want to win that game. I also think that happens when you play a team like the Jets and when you play a guy like Mike White, who's this sort of no name. You're just we can't lose to this guy. We can't lose to this team. I think that could happen with the Colts. You might also then get other teams' best because of that.
Yeah, and it also is kind of a cliche, but at the same time, there's also a week of tape on him now, and I think that's also going to change a whole lot too. Where it was kind of this unknown. I mean, guys didn't even know where he went to college before last week. Never mind that he was a quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. I do think that's a real thing because you kind of saw what not to do for Cincinnati. Teams will do that. The Colts are also playing in this game. I think that, I guess, the interesting thing is the Carson Wentz of it all, who kind of had a very bizarre game against the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, the headliner was that interception pick 6 play. It's a fascinating game. I think for both these teams. I don't know. If you had to bet on this 10.5-point line, would you bet on the Jets or the Colts here?
I think I'd still probably go Colts barely. Like, I think this is going to be like a 14-point win. I don't know.
Okay.
This Jets team has been sneakily pretty good against the run this season. Now, that could be, their run numbers could be because teams are just throwing the ball downfield on them a bunch. But at the same time, their run numbers are pretty good. So if they start struggling running the ball, do you trust Carson Wentz to drop back and throw the ball downfield a whole bunch? You probably do, just because it's the Jets secondary. But at the same time, I definitely don't feel comfortable about it.
Yeah. One final thought about the Jets. You look at the 4 teams they've beaten. So they beat Cincinnati and they beat Tennessee this year. Last year, they beat the Browns and the Rams, 2 other good teams. If the Colts lose this game, does that prove they are a good team?
Maybe they throw this game to say, see, guys, we're good, we're fine. And then
Yeah,
all of
there
a
you
sudden
go.
they just go on a huge winning streak.
Yes, exactly. If you beat the Jets, like, oh, you beat the Jets, that's not great.
Yeah, but
Yes, all right.
definitely going Colts here.
Yeah, I think
That's your
that's
pick,
probably.
right?
Yeah, yes. My pick is the Colts, of course. 2 games left. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you Broncos at Cowboys here. Cowboys 9.5-point favorites. Where are you going?
Yeah, so I had to double check. It seems like Dak's going to be good to go, so I'm going with the Cowboys. Um, I don't like this Broncos team. This has been well established on the podcast. I'm anti Broncos right now. I don't think this team's good at all. I don't think it's going to be able to hang. Cowboys win this one pretty easily.
Yep.
Okay. So Bills Jaguars. No.
Yeah. All right. We do this every now and then. That's exact joke, and I think it works every time. It's always landed.
It's always hilarious. So
Yes.
what exactly do you look forward to for this Broncos team? Like, Teddy Bridgewater could have a couple turnovers in this game. I think that move has. I mean, it's not all Teddy's fault, but at the same time, I think this is probably it for Teddy Bridgewater as a starting quarterback in the NFL, right?
Mm. I had a weird off the wall thought that I had with Teddy Bridgewater. Because when I'm talking about sort of like splits between like certain coverages, Bridgewater is one of those guys who, when teams blitz, he does very well. When teams don't blitz, he doesn't do very well. If you're a team like the New Orleans Saints, who you have Jameis Winston he's probably going to be your starter next year, who kind of doesn't do better or worse against the blitz. What about a platoon quarterback matchup? You go up against Tampa Bay and Carolina, 2 teams that blitz a lot. Then you put in Bridgewater. Then against other teams, you leave Jameis Winston in. This is how do you like this mad scientist thought?
That'd be bold. Don't think I've ever seen it before. So yeah, that'd certainly be the boldest strategy I've ever seen.
How
Don't
do you
know
like
if
it?
I don't know if it would work, just because they're both not good enough, I think. But unless you have the Saints defense behind you, maybe it works then.
I think it's I think it would be a good. I think there's some intrigue in it. I would want to see a team do it. I'm not sure if I would do it if I was a GM, but I'd want to see a team do it.
Yeah, that's fair. But here's the thing: the Cowboys don't blitz, so
Right.
this isn't going to work for this game. I think it's going to be a tough matchup for them. And yeah, so I think the Broncos are going to struggle again.
Yeah. The pathway for Denver winning is if Dak Prescott isn't fully healthy.
Correct. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Right. And so that's kind of that's the main thing. And on the flip side, just to break it down, I don't know what Denver does on defense to try to stop this Cowboys offense. I don't know what any team does, but especially Denver, who it's like, okay, you have this great secondary, so Dallas is going to run. Okay, and you're just going to let them run. Like, there's not going to be. I don't know what their plan is. They just lost Von Miller, so it's like I just don't know how they even slow this defense down.
Yeah, and we've still seen teams throw down the ball downfield with broken coverages. Even as good as the secondary is, it has these random, like, it's not like it's a bad secondary. It just has the most random busted coverages, and there's been big plays off it. And this Dallas Cowboys passing game is built to have big plays.
Yeah, well, especially when you have. It's not that teams have sort of figured out this cover 4 defense. Football strategy is kind of circular in a way, right? Where teams start to run a certain defense, and so then teams say, okay, well, this is how we attack that defense. And so then teams start to run a different defense, and then teams say, okay, well, this is how we attack that defense. So, like, base coverages are an issue, and that's kind of why usually the teams that have the most success are teams that aren't afraid to mix things up.
Yeah, that's fair. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this one. But yeah, Cowboys should win pretty easily.
Yeah, all right. Final game, Bills at Jaguars. I'm going to pick the Bills to win this one, Kyle.
Whoa.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, talk about a warm take.
Are you worried about a little Laviska Shenault?
No.
What about Dan Arnold?
Yeah, we're very worried about Dan Arnold. I think Dan Arnold he moves the needle.
Okay. So
Mhm.
if Dan Arnold has like 12 catches, 227 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
I think more. I think he should get more than that. I think feed Dan Arnold. That should be the
Yeah.
the mindset for every team.
So Dan Arnold goes for 227 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jags are going crazy. They're energized on the sidelines. 42-21 Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I unironically think that like, if you told me Dan Arnold has over 200 receiving yards, I still pick Buffalo to win this game.
I agree. I think it's going to be a bad game. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Buffalo's just kind of built to like dominate this game, right? They're going to win this
Mhm.
game by 50, and everyone's going to be like, "Buffalo's back, baby!" And then
Uh,
they'll have a random letdown game later in the season, but they're built to dominate this game.
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it's almost like so impossible for the Jaguars to even become close. Like they're probably gonna win. Like it's just like one of those like because the NFL makes no sense. But it's like I don't know how the Jaguars even come close to slowing down Buffalo. Like Geno Smith just lit them up last week. So like what are they gonna do against Josh Allen? And then the flip side, it's like I don't trust this. Trevor Lawrence. He's had he did not have a great week against Seattle last week. He made a lot of mistakes. I don't know how he's going to be better against a Bills defense that I think is probably better. So I just don't see how this team, I don't see how this team covers a 14.5 point spread, let alone stays competitive.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The crazy thing is we just saw LA go into Houston with a 17.5 point spread, and now
Hmm.
this is only 14.5. This feels like it should be 20.
Yeah. What's the highest spread you would still bet the Bills on?
I almost locked this game up. I
Hmm.
would probably put it at like 20. If it was 20.5, I'd probably still bet Bills.
I'll tell you, yeah. I think that's that's probably fair. Even when we are talking about it, I was like, yeah, I could have locked this up. Like this is very lock. Usually when it's like double digits, I don't even think about it. This was a lockable candidate.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if it was anything more than 3 touchdowns, I'm not locking just because it'd be difficult, but this is going to be a rout.
Yeah, it should be a fun one to watch to film on a couple days later and be like, oh wow, so this is why Trevor Lawrence stunk. Oh wow, this is why Josh Allen was able to dominate. Jaguars, not a great football team.
Yeah, hot take again. You're just scorching today, honestly.
Really, I mean, yeah, I mean, the word, everyone's gonna say, okay, we gotta unsubscribe to this channel. I mean, you're just saying stuff to say stuff here. You don't
Yeah, I
believe any
know.
of these takes.
Yeah, too much controversy with this one. Pretty crazy though. Yeah. No, honestly, I don't know. Like there's just no chance to me.
Yeah, this should be it should be a fun week so far. Disappointed I won't be able to we won't be here to recap it on Sunday, but it should be a fun show a week from today starting at 9 where we go over, we'll do the highlights basically the way it's going to work so everyone in the chat. So we probably won't end up talking about Bills Jaguars basically is the way to view it.
Yeah, or Mammals or Mammals Falcons or who are they playing? Texans. Mammals Falcons
Not
probably won't make the
themselves.
show. Yeah. Texans probably won't make the show. I almost messed it up again. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? Anyway, should
Well,
be a
technically, you could do that with every team. It's like you could do Mammals, Jaguars, because the Bills are like actual players for the Bills are Mammals who are playing the Jaguars.
I guess the bird teams you can't do it, right?
Well, I mean, the humans that play for the bird teams are Mammals.
But what if it's like Seahawks Falcons? Then you're screwed.
Wait, I don't think I understand. I don't think I follow. What do you mean?
Because birds are birds mammals?
No, but I don't believe so. I think that that's kind of like a weird. Like I think birds are just birds. My joke is that the Falcons are made up of humans, which are mammals.
Oh, I see now. I
Hmm.
got you. I'm with you. Okay, I get the joke.
All right, biology jokes. Always a great way to end the podcast. Kyle, any final thoughts before we head out?
Looking forward to another fun week of football. Been been some good stuff so far. I think this is going to be a good week. A lot of good games in this one. Not the Bills and Jaguars, but there are a lot of good games still on the schedule.
Yeah, like are birds mammals? Seriously? That's Peter in the chat. Peter, not impressed with your biology knowledge, Kyle.
I am not a biology major. I'm sorry.
Yes, birds are dinosaurs. Yes, thank you, Peter. Now we are aware of dinosaurs, Kyle.
Dinosaurs, they're among us.
Are dinosaurs mammals?
I don't think so.
They're reptiles, right? Or are they
Uh,
birds? Don't they have feathers?
well, they're dead, so they're nothing.
Well, okay, I get that, but I think that you can still have a thing.
I don't know what they are. I don't know what they'd be classified as. We need a biologist to come on the podcast, I
We
guess.
need a biology to come on.
We need all of biology on the podcast.
Yeah, this comment says dinos are birds. That just can't be right? Like that. There's no way that dinosaurs are birds.
I don't know.
I mean, like
there was a whole
pterodactyls are
thing
birds.
about. I remember there was a whole thing at one point that they were, they used to have feathers. There was a theory on that.
Is that not true?
I thought
it was true.
I mean, we don't know. They're dead.
Okay, well, we'll work on a time machine to figure out more dinosaur facts. Everyone, in the comments below, let us know your favorite dinosaur fact, just to confuse everyone else who just tunes in after the fact and is wondering why everyone's talking about dinosaurs in the comments. So everyone do that. Ignore everything we just talked about. And Kyle, let them know where they can find us on Twitter.
Yeah, everyone's due. Your homework this week for next Wednesday is to find one dinosaur fact for the show.
Yes.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter, though, at Jackson Kruger. Follow him at Jackson Kruger. Follow me at by Kyle Gronin on Twitter. Make sure to follow the account page at On the Sideline JK. That's at On the Sideline JK on Twitter.
Yes. We see dinosaurs laid eggs, if that helps. Kind of. So it can't be mammals then, right? Mammals are out.
I guess. Fish lay eggs. Are they fish? No.
I was about to say fish aren't mammals either, but I didn't realize. Yeah, I think fish. I think that's it. I think dinosaurs are fish.
There we go.
Okay,
I don't know.
Okay, we solved it. Everyone, thank you to listening to our nonsense for an hour and 21 minutes. So we do appreciate it. And of course, as always, have a good one.
Peace.
Some mammals lay eggs. We're not talking about platypuses, okay, guys? Whatever. Goodbye.
Bye.